We live in the dark to serve the light. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. We are assassins. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing this evening? Welcome to another episode of Phenomenal Views. Of course, I am your host, Nick Smith, and this is my review for the video game movie Assassin's Creed, starring Michael Fassbender. And I'm just going to say, I did like this movie. I did like it. But as I did watch the movie, I did notice that there are some problems. And I am a big fan of Assassin's Creed. I have a hidden blade, for goodness sake. I have a figure of Altair. I have played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, Black Flag. I have read most of the books. That goes up from 1 to Unity. I am a big fan of Assassin's Creed. You ask any of my friends, you will know that I am a big fan of Assassin's Creed. And when I saw that they were finally making an Assassin's Creed movie, I was like, oh, awesome. I cannot wait for this. And then I heard some of the reviews, and I have heard from Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns, who I have great respect for, that this movie was not that good. And I can see where they would say that, but I'm honestly going to have to disagree. Now, the movie has its problems. No movie doesn't have problems, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that what they did with this game that I am unfortunately going to have to go into spoilers kind of for, that are at least spoilers for some parts of the movie, but also spoiler for the first game. Because that's what this movie is. It's basically the first game, just with a different person who's not the main character from the first game, and it's not during the same time period. So if you don't want to know anything about that, leave the video now because I'm going to start talking. Alright, so the first Assassin's Creed game is about Desmond Miles, who is a bartender who gets kidnapped by the company Abstergo, and they plug him into a machine called the Animus, where they basically send him back to his ancestor's time, who is an assassin, to find the Apple of Eden. The Templars want to use the Apple of Eden to basically take away man's free will, because they believe us having free will is what causes most of our problems. So, things with this movie, they got that right. They got the Templars' motivation right. They got the Templars themselves right. They got Abstergo right. They got the weapons of Assassin's Creed right. They got the parkour right. They got the leap of faith right. They got most of the stuff from the games right. This honestly makes me think of George Romero when he was chosen to do Resident Evil. It honestly sounds like the person who was helped making this movie or writing this movie did his research or did their research on this franchise, and they took it and they put it into a movie that, in my honest opinion, this movie's underrated or overrated or whatever it means. People think that it's bad when I think it's actually good. There are some things that did kill some things in this movie for me. For example, I did not like the Animus. The Animus has always been, and I'll explain why I didn't like the Animus. And it's not because I'm a pure fan or like I'm a purist or whatever. But the Animus has always been this table thing that you lay on. And I guess from how I've always understood it, they take your subconscious and put it into the subconscious of your ancestor, and you basically relive your ancestor's memories. So Desmond has relived his ancestor Altair, Ezio Auditore La Firenze, Connor, which I don't actually know how to pronounce his full Native American name, and Hatham, which I actually don't know if Hatham and Connor are technically related to Desmond, but the point is that's always what the Animus has always been. It's either always been a table from the first game, or it was this little lounge chair thing in the second and in Brotherhood, and then in 3 it was kind of, it's just like this little machine. It's not what they did in the movie. And in the movie, what killed it for me was the fact that they had Michael Fassbender hooked up to it and they had him basically plugged in. It was kind of like, okay, if anyone has seen The Matrix, when they have Neo sitting in that chair and they plug him in, that's kind of what they should have done, or that's kind of what makes me think a true version of the Animus. And because like when you're watching the cool action scenes, it is awesome, but then like, they flash back to showing Michael Fassbender killing people or doing the parkour, and I was like, no, why are you doing this? that they had me sucked in the moment, and then like when they show him doing that, I'm like, oh, why? No, you had it. You had it. And a fact of the matter is that another thing some people didn't like was where Cal is only in the Animus 3 times. Michael Fassbender's character's name, I cannot honestly remember his full name, but I know they say Cal for short. And my dog is barking. And I can't even remember his assassin's name, so there goes that. But he's only in the Animus 3 times. And the scenes when he's in the Animus are awesome. But here's another thing. They downplayed this movie. In my honest opinion, this movie should have been rated R. But not because... But, like, they didn't need to go... Like, if they were to make this movie rated R, they didn't have to... Like, they wouldn't have to go full, like, Silence of the Lambs hardcore R. They could have, like, went kind of like the Deadpool rated R route and just dumbed it down a little bit. Because people are getting killed in this movie, and when they're getting killed, they're getting hit in certain points where there should be blood. But unfortunately, there wasn't that much. Like, when someone's throat gets slit, you see a little bit of blood, but not much. Now, I know that when you assassinate somebody in the games, you don't really see that much blood, but they had an opportunity to take this game series into a movie and expand a little bit, at least on the gore. Like, you don't have to make it freaking remake of Evil Dead or like a slasher movie or something like that, but you've got to be a little bit more realistic. And like some places where these people are getting stabbed in the neck, there should be blood. Or someone getting hit in the back of the head with a certain weapon, or getting stabbed in the chest or sliced, there should be blood. But they chose to be PG-13 like Mortal Kombat. I mean, like, there's been hard PG-13s. I can't think of any right now at the moment, but there has been. They could have made this movie a little bit more gory, and they didn't. And I honestly think that that's one of the issues with this movie, is that they downplay the gore. Which, when you're assassinating somebody and where they're killing them, and like where they're putting the blades or where they're slicing their stomachs or stabbing them, there should have been some more blood. And another problem with this, in the first game, you're not always in the Animus. You're in the Animus for a significant amount of time, but they do pull you out, and then like you go sleep, and then you go get back in the Animus, and then sometimes you go and you do a little bit of investigation to find out what's going on with Abstergo, what's really going on, and they played that up a lot, and I honestly think that that was unnecessary, because the trailers showed it that we were going to be in the Animus for most of the movie, and we're only in there a certain amount of time. They either should have had him go in the Animus more, or they should have had him be in the Animus, like, just have the scenes be a little bit longer. And another thing, with, at least in this movie, they do kind of explain, in the games, Desmond Miles gets kidnapped, and you don't really ever hear of someone going to look for him, like a missing persons report or something like that. Whereas in this, Michael Fassbender is executed for murdering someone, and then he is taken by Abstergo, and they say, you have been pronounced dead. So nobody knows he's alive. That kind of made a little bit more sense, and I actually didn't mind that. But I mean, like, this movie got a lot of things done right, and I think that this movie is a fair adaptation of the very first game. They just changed the character's name, they changed the assassin's name, and they changed the time period, and I honestly don't have a problem with that. It felt like an Assassin's Creed movie. It did feel like we were in the Animus, but then when they showed us how Michael Fassbender was just hooked up to that thing and just doing karate moves to nothing, it took me out of it. And that's one of the things that I honestly feel like hurts this movie the most, is that, because it really doesn't make you feel like you're in the Animus. You're just watching someone in the Animus. But I would honestly say that this movie hits a lot of good things. It has a lot of good things for it. The action is good. The story is just like how it is from the first game. There, unfortunately, is just a little bit more that they should have done. They should have kept him in the Animus longer, or they should have even done this. This is honestly just me. My idea was what they maybe should have done is introduce Michael Fassbender, have him die, and then have him get plugged into the Animus, and just keep him there throughout the whole entire movie, and maybe have him, like, them taking breaks, but him still staying in the Animus and him kind of figuring things out instead of him, like, socializing with the other people Abstergo has kidnapped. And I think that that might have made the movie work a little bit more better, or you could have just done this. Of course, though, they would have had to change things, but in the books, Desmond is not mentioned at all. The books are just about the assassins, and maybe that's what this movie should have been, is just the assassins. They maybe should have went the novel route, the way how the novels are, and it's just about the assassin. It's just about their lives and their mission. Nothing about Desmond is mentioned. Nothing about Abstergo is mentioned in the books, at least not the ones that I've read. It's always been the assassin story. Altair from the first one, Ezio, and all three of his books that he has. Same thing with Connor, same thing with Edward, same thing with whatever his name in Assassin's Creed Unity. I can't think of his name right now. Or him and Arno. Arno, it was all about Arno and Elise's story, and there was nothing mentioned about you being inside the Animus. It was just the pure story of the assassin, and they either should have went that route, or they should have maybe done what I thought. Not just because I think that it's better, but it would have, I guess, maybe, I don't know. I think it would have been better instead of him only going in the Animus 3 times, or at least they should have maybe added him going in the Animus a couple more times. I thought the editing was fine. I thought the acting was fine. I thought a lot of the other things in this stuff was fine, especially the fact that I greatly respect that they took the leap of faith and actually had somebody really do it instead of it being completely CGI. Michael Fassbender didn't do it himself, but I greatly respect that they took the leap of faith and actually had somebody really do it. And that is something that I can respect. It is clear that the person who made this movie, or helped made it, they knew what they were doing, they knew a lot about the games, but they just they focused more on the outside of them not being the assassin and more figuring out about, like, what Abstergo wants, basically. And that can be fine to an extent, but a lot of people are probably going to want to see this movie just to see the stuff about being in the Animus and being an assassin. And that's what they should have focused on. But overall, guys, I'm honestly going to give Assassin's Creed a C+. I would go see this movie again. I'm probably going to get this movie on Blu-ray. I enjoyed it. There might be people with other opinions, but guys, let's get this video some likes. Hit that like button and subscribe. Put in the comments below, what did you think about the Assassin's Creed movie? If you have seen it, what did you think about it? Who is your favorite assassin? What is your favorite Assassin's Creed game? What is your favorite Assassin's Creed novel? I personally want to know. Guys, I hope that you had a Merry Christmas, and I honestly cannot wait for the new year, because I'm going to try and get some videos coming your way that you're going to love. Guys, have a Happy New Year, and you have a good night. And always remember, nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Have a good day, guys.